Well, we're going to go on a bit of a walking adventure. I'm going to travel by train to Ipswich, and then from Ipswich we're going to follow the Stour and Orwell Walk to Felixstowe. Could be quite a nice day. The weather forecast is a bit, it says there could be a few showers, but I think we can put up with a bit of that. But anyway, I'm quite interested. I've never been around that area particularly before, so it'd be nice to have a look. So we'll better head on towards the railway station.
The first part of this exciting journey is commencing. We're travelling from London Liverpool Street to Ipswich. How exciting is that? From Ipswich we'll have a walk to Felixstowe. Marvellous stuff.
I'm stood outside Ipswich station ready to start my walk to Felixstowe. I'm going to go on the Stour and Orwell path, and that's what it's called. Yeah, if it isn't, that's what it should be. That's the way I'm going. So there you go, all excitement, off we go. I think it could be quite a distance as well, so we'll see what we think like at the end. Then part of the walk's down on the river, or down on the side of the river there, next to those rather funky looking buildings. There's people with a dog down there, so I'm assuming we're allowed to walk that way. Promising start to the walk, really. So the way to that funky path was blocked off by some barriers. I'm having to go down this rather attractive road here. Anyway, I get to see bits of Ipswich, so that's good. Apparently it takes about 7 minutes from here to the waterfront, which I think is where I need to be. We're at the port of Ipswich here. It's pretty grand. Not sure how much traffic comes through here, not with Felixstowe just down the road as well. Anyway, it's a nice load of yachts and whatever. Let's have a walk through. So this is the old Custom House and Ipswich Post Office. Pretty grand. And here is the port. Nice big boat here. There's lots of boats here, many of which I could never ever hope to even afford. I'm sure they cost an awful lot of money, but there you go. C'est la vie. La vie. Look, I've just said it. Right, we're now into a park called Holywells Park, or Holywells Park, and I believe this is where that Stour and Orwell Walk goes around. I'm hoping so. What the map seems to suggest. Hopefully I'm going on the right way, else it's going to be a flipping long walk. There's a post here, maybe this will tell me whether I am actually on that correct walk. There's no obvious information, but it looks like there's several walks come through here, so I'll keep going along. My Ordnance Survey map seems to suggest I'm on the right way, so let's hope they haven't got that one wrong. Hello ducks, you alright? Your pond's looking a bit manky. Hope you're okay. Oh dear. There are signs around here for the Stour and Orwell Walk, but they're quite well hidden sometimes. But anyway, I think I'm going the correct way. Into another park now, Landseer Park. Oh, here is another sign, in fact, for the Stour and Orwell Walk, so I'm definitely going the correct way. That's good news. This is going to take me to Felixstowe. Oh no, I'm getting towards Felixstowe when I come across Felix Foot, because it's at the end of Felix Foot where Felixstowe is. Well, I've been walking about an hour now, and I'm not even sure I'm outside of Ipswich yet, so anyway, it's a bit of a curvy old wander. It's very nice though. Go through some nice parts of the place. A very nice park at the moment. There's a nice little dog ahead of me. It's all very nice. Anyway, I'll go off here so I can pet the dog. It's a good job I got my Ordnance Survey map with me, because the signposts for this Stour and Orwell Walk aren't the best. I mean, there's a bit there I just had to take a sharp right turn, but there's no sign telling me that. It would be easy to get lost. I think somebody needs to sort of put a few more signs in here and there. Anyway, it's all cool so far. Then this far out shot is worse because you get to see more of my head. Right, now I'm looking at over the Orwell Bridge. I think that's taking the A14 over the River Orwell. It's an impressive bridge. Get a good view from that if you're driving over it. Obviously we're not driving over it, we're going to walk under it, I reckon. Then this is quite a cool view, looking under the bridge, or across under the bridge. It looks it's rather grand little design to look through that gap as well. Marvellous stuff. So I think after about an hour and a half we are properly outside of Ipswich now, and I have to say this area is absolutely splendid. You can see there's the river down there through the trees, some ducks I can see there, and then you look that way. I mean, it's probably not that clear on camera, but that's yet more river. I'm properly walking alongside the riverside, and I mean, obviously we're quite near to the sea here, so the river, well, it's an estuary really. It's very wide. It's very pretty around here. Magnificent place. I can't describe this as anything other than beautiful. It is really, really nice around here. It's not really possible to see on the camera, but that water is pretty clear as well. It's nice. Can't really argue if walking alongside the riverbank. Just spoke to some bloke who's hammering some posts in. Says they're constructing a new footpath, which is just on the other side of that fence there. It's not open yet. It'll be open next week, he reckons. And he said that it'll enable you to get past even when there's a high tide. So it's lucky I've come here when there's not a high tide, because obviously I am able to walk along here. I have to say I was completely unaware of that before I started the walk, so that's a stroke of luck really. But there you go, this is a very nice area. Just come across this World War II pillbox here, not far off the A14. So part of the old defences of the country if the Germans had managed to invade. But anyway, it still looks pretty hefty to me. It'd be great for some gun pointing out of that, but there isn't, obviously. Just got to keep tromping down this road. This old Tudor building over here is called Halfway House. It would be nice to think it's marks the halfway point on my walk, but I don't think I've reached the halfway point yet, so alas no, but it's a very pretty place, I have to say. So I don't know how old that is, but it's looks Tudor, so it's quite a few 100 years old. Perhaps not the most picturesque part of this walk. But every walk has to have its ups and its downs. Still, if you like roads and traffic, it's very picturesque. Right, this road forms part of the Stour and Orwell Walk, it seems to be a 60 miles per hour limit along this road, and although it's not the busiest road ever, it's really not quiet and there's no footpaths. And I don't feel particularly safe along here, I have to say, but such is life, I've got to walk down it. But yeah, I'm not completely happy that this is part of a walk. Anyway, East Anglia is not renowned for having hills particularly, and this hasn't got massive great hills, but there's a few little rolling hills here. It's quite pretty. Luckily we're off that particularly bad road, which was, I have to say, really rather dangerous. We're on another road which is a 30 miles per hour limit. Something coming past me right now. It's Jag. We're outside a posh school, so there's going to be a few Jaguars around here and other posh cars. See, where rich people send their children off to school. But anyway, never mind that. But anyway, at least we're off that really rather dangerous road, which was in fact part of the national cycle network as well, which I think you'd be taking your life in your hands cycling along there as well. Anyway, but hopefully it's not as dangerous from here on in. Just going past the little church at the moment, which is rather pleasant. Yes, not a great fan of that bit being part of a guided walk, but anyway, there you go. It's just the way it goes sometimes, I'm thinking. I was looking for somewhere to have a bit of nosh, and look at this, a picnic site. How useful is that? I am now at Nacton picnic site, and I have to say, this is really rather a splendid spot for a picnic. I mean, my word, this is lovely here. Yeah, I can see the cranes for the Felixstowe docks off there in the distance as well. There you go, look at that panning there, that focusing like the BBC would be proud of. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, what a place to have a picnic, and that's what I'm about to stop and have me lunch. On a little beach here on the edge of the River Orwell. There's some swans over there. This is very pretty. This is really rather a nice part of this walk. Certainly not like that road earlier. I don't think I'm going to get run over. Obviously, famously, swans are capable of breaking your arm. I'm never sure whether anyone's ever had their arm broken by a swan, but you know, but they could be dangerous, so best to treat them with a bit of respect. Never mind the damage a car can do, what about the damage a swan can do? This walk takes me around Levington Creek, which is a creek just off the River Orwell. It's quite grand here. Obviously the tide is out at the moment, so there's low water. There's quite a few cool birds here. I'm pretty rubbish at identifying bird variety, so that's really rather helpful. But yeah, it's pretty marvellous here. I love it. Just looking out towards Felixstowe, just looking up Levington Creek there towards the River Orwell. I've noticed around here some idiot's done that, and I heartily approve. That's absolutely fantastic. Love it. Now walking through a marina on the outskirts of Felixstowe, I think. There are boats in the water, and these ones are not in the water, clearly. I'll watch myself. There's various vehicles trundling around here. Quite interesting, mind you. Well, I've come past the marina. Now I'm walking in some woods, which are rather grand. Still next to the River Orwell, which is behind me. It's all blooming marvellous. Turning around here, I'll get all dizzy if I'm not careful. Oh yes, dizzy. Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm getting quite close, I believe, to the edge of Felixstowe. Yeah, it's been quite an enjoyable walk, really. Just walking down this little bank here. Looks like there's a bit of a causeway I've got to go across in a minute. This is quite spectacular around here. As you can, mud flats, salt marsh, plenty of bird life around here. There's the port of Felixstowe over there, big container port. Quite impressive stuff. Those container vessels are humongous, absolutely flipping humongous. Walking along a bit of a causeway here, got a body of water on my left, here it is, and a bigger body of water on my right, there it is, and there's all the cranes over there for the port of Felixstowe. There's that body of water on my left again, so better not be too drunk walking along here. Luckily I'm stone cold sober, won't want to stumble off the edge, I'll get wet either way. There's some geese on the path down here. They better move out of my way, or else. I don't know what the else is, but anyway, they better move out of my way. The geese are certainly making a bit of noise, and off they go. Yeah, they didn't fancy messing with the likes of me. Oh no. Well, maybe I smell, I don't know. Yeah, every time you think the walk's just going to be the same, it changes again. This is quite nice. I think this is probably another salt marsh thing here, but there's little trees out in the in amongst the water there. It's quite cool. Up on a bank here. I'm enjoying the old contrast here between the traditional here and what a beautiful sight this is. Around to the very much modern over there, the container port at Felixstowe, which is very, very impressive, it must be said. And then there's Trimley Marshes right next to me. It's a very, very interesting place to walk. It's raining quite heavily at the moment, so that makes it even more interesting, but yeah, I can't really grumble about it. That black thing with the white lettering on the side, I'm quite certain that is in fact a container ship. You can see how many containers are on it. I'm not even sure that's the biggest sort of container ship there is in the world, but that's a big old blooming ship, I have to say. And you know the size of those containers because they're the sort of things which go onto the back of an articulated lorry, so you see how many of those things go on there. Well, the port of Felixstowe is quite some operation. I mean, there's cranes going way off into the distance here, and you can see all of the containers elsewhere in the port. Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look around now. I'm not sure whether they do tours. That ship, I've just noticed there are containers at the front, hundreds of them, and there's the superstructure, and then it seems that there's containers behind the superstructure as well. I mean, my word, that ship is big. It really is an impressive thing, but it's amazing. It's amazing what you can build. Very impressive stuff. Love it. So this part of the walk, I've just gone past the Trimley Marsh Nature Reserve. That was on the other side than from the port of Felixstowe. So obviously I was being the cultured man I was more interested in the port. But anyway, I can hear a whole load of birds going off, on one on my left hand side, But it's quite a nice little walk down this track here. You can see the rain has stopped. There's a bit of blue sky up there. It's rather pleasant. Carrying on our merry way towards Felixstowe. Fan-flipping-tastic. There's a rainbow over there. It is a bit sunny, but it's certainly now started raining again. It's rather pretty around this bit. Still not too far from the port. I can hear the crashing and bashing sounds from the port going on. But yeah, we're in quite a pretty bit here on the edge of the countryside. Some reeds just over, well, right next to me. I think they're reeds anyway. So I don't want to fancy tromping through there. I suspect there's a whole load of water down there. Anyway, when I was at the marina, I mistakenly thought I was on the edge of Felixstowe. Well, that was quite some time ago now, and I'm still not in Felixstowe. Though I'm quite confident, being next to the port, that I must be on the edge of the town of Felixstowe, and according to the map, I am. So yes, this is quite some walk, a very enjoyable walk, I have to say, but quite a walk. Anyway, let's carry on down here. It's rather nice little tree lined, well, I suppose you could call it an avenue. A policeman might live down here. 999 Let's Be Avenue. There was a bit of excitement back there. I had to cross the railway lines, the railway junction coming out the Felixstowe port. I'm used to crossing railway lines as part of walking. However, the gates wouldn't open. It turns out that the signaller had them locked, so that probably don't want people milling around on the railway willy-nilly. It's probably quite busy, so to ring the signaller. So I've never rung the signaller before. And then I had to advise the signaller as to whether some locomotive was blocking the pathway. So I was thinking, what's he even on about? But I saw what he was referring to. I was able to confirm that the locomotive was not blocking the pathway, and he let me across. So all cool for school, but it's a bit of excitement having to speak to the railway signaller. So there you go. How cool was that? Very cool. Right, most of Felixstowe I've seen so far seems to either be the port or bits which are there to rely on or service the port. It's perhaps not surprising, and there's an awful lot of lorries around here. Also, again, perhaps not surprising. So really, it's quite an interesting place. It's unlike places I'm usually hanging around, so it's always good to experience something new. But anyway, I'm quite enjoying Felixstowe so far, but I think there is in fact a beach here as well, so we're gonna have a seek that one out as well. Well, I think I'm getting down towards the seafront. There was a little cat there, but anyway, yeah, I think I'm getting down towards the seafront finally, to see what the beach looks like in Felixstowe. I'm quite interested in this. It'd be nice to see the sea as well. Right, over there is a Martello Tower. I believe they were constructed when they were worried about a Napoleonic invasion of Britain. That was a very poor camera work, but there's several of those around the country, dotted around the coast. Right, finally, I'm at Felixstowe Beach. And there's a bit of a flood warning, so they've got various flood barriers shut at the moment. What I wasn't expecting here, there's a big wheel. How cool is this? Flipping marvellous. So this is the beach at Felixstowe. It's quite a nice sandy beach actually. It's got a load of like sort of these flood defence things going on here, which is yeah, it seems reasonable considering that the you don't want your town to get flooded, but looks like quite a nice beach to come to for a bit of a swim in the summer. I mean, the sea's not looking particularly inviting at the moment, but you know, it is October, so can't really grumble about that. But anyway, quite like you know, until recently, I'd only really thought about Felixstowe as a place to for a big port. I'd never thought it had a beach. Turns out it does, and it's quite a nice beach as well. How cool is that? The entire rainbow here. Fantastic, look at that. So this here is the pier at Felixstowe. I'm not even sure whether it's open at this time of the year, but anyway, I don't really have the time to have a look either. I've got to go and get a train. But anyway, this is quite a surprise about Felixstowe. I really wasn't expecting this sort of level of seaside resortness, if that's a word. But yeah, it's a pleasant surprise really, so that's nice. I mean, it is October, so I can't really complain about this, but it is the British seaside, so consequently I've got completely drenched in a rainstorm. But there you go, it's the way it goes, isn't it? This used to be the railway station building for Lowestoft Station. I believe it's now a shopping centre. Hopefully I can get to the railway station through here anyway, but it does look pretty grand, doesn't it? Love the architecture. I think we go this way to the railway station. I can see a platform over there, so I'm thinking that must be it. There's some old platforms out here. This is fantastic, I like this. Well, I'm back home again after a few days. That turned into quite a long walk. It was about 20.5 miles, so just over 33 kilometers. My legs did ache a little bit, but there you go. It's fun walking. And because the trains only went once an hour from Felixstowe, even when it was raining, I couldn't stop for shelter because I thought I'd better not miss the train. So I got completely drenched. It was marvellous. But anyway, there you go. Just a fool out walking around. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, there'll be more of these adventures coming along. So do like the video, and if you wish to see more, please do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.